June 10th. Professor Imaz sets out for Chichen Itza with 7 men. June 22nd. 1 man disappears while studying El Castillo Pyramid. July 9th. 3 men disappear while researching the Well of Sacrifice. July 14th. Professor Imaz and 2 others vanish mysteriously while excavating the ball court. Only the guide returns. July 17th. The professor's notes and a few artifacts are found in the Well of Sacrifice. Professor Imaz was an expert on Mayan writing. He read in an old book that the mythical Sun Key was hidden at Chichen Itza and set out to discover it. Professor Imaz's daughter was a close friend. Since it was summer vacation, we decided to go to Mexico to solve the mystery of his disappearance. Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Tombs and Treasure for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And this is a rather obscure one. This is a rather obscure game that I have not heard a whole lot about. It took a Let's Play from SaxCat's Gaming Corner, which I'm going to link to learn about this game. A lot about this game, as a matter of fact. And this one is really, really interesting. This one is more of a point-and-click style adventure. Sort of. And you'll be exploring places, you'll be solving puzzles, and you'll also get confused a lot. This is one of those games that can be very confusing and daunting if you don't know what to do. And according to SaxCat, the game appeared in Counselor's Corner a lot in Nintendo Power, which I can totally believe happening. I didn't really read game magazines until around the mid-90s, but that's mostly because I'm a couple of years younger than SaxCat, let's be honest. So I didn't really get to see Nintendo Power during its 80s and early 90s prime, and therefore I never really got to know much about this game up until more recent years. Well, recent as of the time of this recording. I definitely didn't know about this game until later. And from what I've seen of the game, which is basically all of it, is a wonderful game, but it's even better if you know what to do. And Counselor's Corner had notes and strategies on how to even begin the game. I mean, the game, it gives you like a few places to go at the start, but from there it's up to you. The game doesn't exactly hold your hand. So unless you're looking at all sorts of things and experimenting with stuff and this, that, and the other, you're not gonna know what to do as well as what not to do. And this can be a pretty confusing game. Also, it says Azteca down at the bottom. I'm just now noticing that. A-S-T-E-K-A-H. I think. Not sure why it does, but it does. Anyway, we've looped through this twice already. Let's go ahead and press start, and we'll be at the main menu. So we have 3 options. We can start a new game, There's last game continue in case we die at any point in the game. We just select that. And there's password continue, which lets us continue with a password. And the passwords can be quite long, and you'll need to write them down carefully if you want to save your progress. We're going to start a new game, because we're starting this game, obviously. And from here, you can input the names of the boy, which we've seen the beginning of the story from his point of view, as well as the girl, who is Professor Imez's daughter. You can use the D-pad to put the cursor underneath the letter. A confirms. I'm pretty sure B does nothing. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that just makes it blank. And you can use the left and right arrows to switch between the boy and the girl at any point. Besides letters, you also have numbers and special characters. Not sure why, but you do. And there's the exit, which lets you exit. If you exit without putting in a name or leaving it all these blanks, you'll have default names for the boy and the girl. And there are several sets of them from what I've read. So if I press exit now, we'll just get some default names, which is what we're going to do. And when you start the game, you will be in Professor Imez's laboratory. It says here it's Celia's father's laboratory. I got Joyce in the practice run, but here I'm getting Celia. There are a couple sets of default names for both the boy and the girl, as I've mentioned before, and it appears I've gotten another default name that I wasn't expecting. Anyway, his secretary is here. Let's go ahead and look at the secretary, or basically do anything. We do need to talk to the secretary. Thank you both for coming. I'm the professor's secretary, Anne. I can't tell you how sorry I am about what happened. The professor's notes were found in the well of sacrifice in the north of the ruins. The well had been emptied of water somehow, but it was rapidly filling up again. There was a lot of treasure with the notes, but they could only recover the notes and these items here. His guide, Jose, can tell you more. He's on his way here now. So if you're wondering how I selected look and then used it, there's this white flashing cursor on this set of icons on the left side of the screen. These little 5 sky blue colored blocks. And you have quite a lot of commands at your disposal. And I'll go through every single one of them. There's go, which lets you move in a certain direction. You can move through these commands with left and right on the D-pad. There's look, which lets you examine the action window. Press A. And if you press A and then B, you'll be able to look in your inventory. We have a bandage. And if we press A on the bandage, could be useful in case of a minor injury. Or, and then we're back on the commands. There's take, which lets you select an item in the action window to the right and place it in the inventory. Put lets you choose an item in your inventory and place it somewhere. Your inventory will, of course, appear in the action window, and then you can use the D-pad to select the item, much like you did with the commands, except you can use up and down as well. And then you can use the D-pad and the A button after you selected an item to place the item somewhere. And of course, you can always use B to back out when necessary with commands. Use lets you use an item from your inventory. Your inventory will appear in the action window, and you can choose which item you want to use with the D-pad and the A button. Move lets you move things in the action window, sometimes walls, sometimes objects, what have you. You can use the you can just place the arrow on what you need to move. The more wider text box, which is the one above the commands, will show you, I believe it's that one, will tell you what you're highlighting, and then once you have what you have selected, you can press A to move it, if the game lets you. Push lets you push things in the action window, and it works much like move. Same with pull, lets you pull things. Smash lets you smash a thing in the item window, and you point at something, and then you can smash it with A. Join lets you join two items together from your inventory. You select the first item and press A. Then you select the second item and press A again, and if the game lets you, you can join those two items. Wash lets you wash an item in your inventory. Works just like use, and we'll be using it in a few cases. Wait just waits. It allows time to pass. And finally, there's Fight, which puts you in fighting mode. This will be used to fight monsters. And finally, there's the Change command, which lets you switch from the boy to the girl and back again. And if you switch to the girl in this scene, you get some dialogue. You know me, I'm your friend Celia. Now if you switch back to the boy, I'm Mark. You should at least learn your own name. That's how you find out what the boy's name is. And that's all the commands. So we have a circle in the top center. We'll be utilizing that eventually. There's two boxes above the commands. The smaller one shows us where we are, and the wider one lets us see what command we are currently highlighting. And at the bottom is the dialogue screen, where we can read dialogue. Let's go ahead and look at items. So we've already looked at the secretary. We have this white cursor, this white arrow with a red outline, and by using the D-pad, preferably with left and right because that's how I do it, we can look at all sorts of things, such as the desk. Celia's father's belongings are on the desk. And once you reach the last part of the dialogue for anything, you'll have command of the white flashing box that signifies what command you have highlighted, and therefore you can look at something else, or you can do anything else. Let's look at the lighter. A Zippo lighter. Let's look at the sword. It's a 16-inch sword with a place in the hilt for a jewel to be fitted. And there's the notebook. The notebook is torn, and only parts can be read. I must have the sun necklace to continue. I found it in the warrior's temple, but it was too dirty to show the sun's position. Who would have guessed there was a trick like that in El Castillo Pyramid? There's a mountain of treasure. There are demons in the ruins. 3 men have already been killed. The demons. I must get the sword of... Lost another man. We seem to have accidentally released demons that were sealed in here by the ancient Mayans. My only chance is to defeat the demon Tentacula. But first I must find the sun key. And finally, there's the silver key. An 8-inch silver key. And now that we've looked at everything, we can press B and then B again once we stop looking, and we can take stuff. Obviously, we can't take the secretary. Though I forgot to look at the secretary again. What's wrong? Is there something on my face? And from here, you can't take it. You don't get any special dialogue. But we can take the lighter. You took it. It's now in the inventory. We can take the silver key. And you can take the sword, but it feels heavy. But you do put it in your inventory anyway. If you try to take the notebook, you can't take it. You have to look at the notebook and then copy down the hints if you want to use them. Game's not making it that easy. So there's nothing else to do here except to leave. Now when you select go, you'll be able to go from one place to another. I'm not sure if I had covered that command, but now I am. So when you select go, you have 6 options. You can go forward with up, backwards with down, you can go to the left or to the right, and in certain places you can go upstairs or downstairs. We're going to go backwards, and when we do, we'll meet this guy. All we can look at is the guide. Hello, my name's Jose. I worked with a professor. I don't know what happened to him. I'm very sorry. If only we had been able to find the sun key. The sun necklace? Yes, we found it in the warrior's temple. The demons appear to have put everything back as it was. What? You are going to the ruins now? In that case, you will want to go to the high priest's tomb to find the mosaic tile that will open the door to the treasure room. Oh, yes. Before you do that, you should go to the nunnery and find the Ixmal jewel. Whenever you want to stop the exploration, you must look in the jewel first and read the password so you can continue later. And from here, we have nothing else to look at. The entrance of the laboratory. Just as you're about to leave, a man enters. And we've already talked to him. His name is Jose. He is the guide who returned from the Well of Sacrifice in the intro to this game. And he is now part of the party, and we can switch between the boy, Mark, in this case, the girl, in this case, Celia, and Jose, who is always Jose. Also, I find it funny that the push icon is a sumo wrestler. Anyway, we need to go. And I believe we need to go... No, we need to go forward to get out. So we need to choose the up arrow. From here, we will leave the laboratory. We will not be able to return. So, before you leave the screen with the secretary, look at the notebook. Copy down stuff. Put it all on a piece of paper. And then leave. Because once you leave the lab, you're not going to be able to go back. So we have some places where we can go. Or at least we've been hinted to go. We've been told to go to the high priest in order to find a mosaic tile, thanks to Jose. And also thanks to Jose, we also know about the nunnery, where we can find the Ixmal jewel. And the Ixmal jewel, when used, allows us to get a password so we can save our progress at any time. So we have 2 places where we can go. There's the nunnery and then there's the high priest tomb. And we will be going to the nunnery. The nunnery is directly north of the laboratory. And... yikes. Getting around can be a little frustrating. Because the game wants you to go around things in a certain way. Also, you have to move into a specific spot in order to enter a place, and that's how we enter the nunnery right there. We kind of have to approach the door, go up the stairs, approach the door, and we'll get there. And we will soon enter. This is the nunnery. There are 3 statues standing in a low-ceilinged room. And from here we can start looking at stuff. A statue of a girl, an old man, and a warrior. When you look at the floor, an ancient floor. And now we're going to start looking at statues. The jewel fits perfectly. And this is the Ixmal jewel. If you're wondering how I'm going through the options, I'm just pressing right until I loop around and then look at everything individually. By looking into the Ixmal jewel, you get your password. Return to the game is self-explanatory. It returns to the game. Confirm password lets you put in a password, assuming you already have one. Though, if you had a password, you probably should have used password continue instead of starting a new game and going here. I mean, it save you a couple minutes. But yeah, you can go over here, carefully copy down your password, which is 32 characters long. Apparently not everybody was doing battery backup, even though it was a little less expensive in the late 80s and early 90s. And that's why we don't have the Famicom disk system in the West. So we might as well go ahead and return to the game. So yeah, even when battery backup became less expensive, some people were still using passwords. Looking at you, Mega Man 6. Anyway, let's look at the man statue. The tallest of the three statues, the old man, and finally, the warrior. Not to be confused with the Ultimate Warrior. The right statue looks as if it once held something. We may have to keep that in mind for later. And from here, we have everything that we need to do. Now that we know about the Ixmal jewel, we can take it. The light dies when the jewel is taken. And if you look at the Ixmal jewel from the inventory, you can still get your game saved, which is great. So you don't have to put it back on the girl statue to use it. You can just look at it at any time and you'll get your password. Anyway, I don't think there's anything that else that we can do. So we're just going to go backwards. We're going to go down to go backwards and we will leave. From here, we need to head to the High Priest's tomb. It's a pyramid-shaped building northwest of the nunnery, and it's going to be a fair distance ahead. So we need to keep going north and west until we find a building that looks like a pyramid. And that's not it. And getting around is a little finicky. Sometimes you can get around objects, sometimes you can't. And this is the tomb of the High Priest. And once you approach this door, you'll approach the High Priest's tomb, aka Tomb of the High Priest. The High Priest's tomb, but there is nothing here. So if we look around or do anything around here, like look at the floor for example, we'll run into a monster. This is what the fight command is for. This is Scorper. This is our first enemy and the weakest one in the game. You'll need to fight off Scorper before you can do anything else. And you'll get a thing telling you what your level is and how many hit points you have. If you run out of hit points, the game is over. As long as you're fighting something that is in an area where you should be in at that point, more than likely you'll be able to defeat the monster. If you can't defeat a monster, you're probably not supposed to be there yet. But thankfully, we do need to be here, and we can fight Scarper. So, let's select the fight command, press A, and things happen. Scorper dodges attack. Mark dodges the attack. And we get our level and hit points again. Just keep using the fight command. If Scorper flashes red, he's badly injured. You will get hit too. Badly damaged. And just keep selecting the fight command. And I kind of cut it close there. The faster you do this, I think the better. But once you beat a monster, not only do you get your hit points back, but you get even more, and you also get stronger. You become a stronger level, although the game doesn't exactly tell you that. Well done. And now from here, we need to look around. There is nothing on the floor, and if you look at the wall, it looks like an unadorned wall. But is it? A 10-foot high ceiling. Alright, well, you'll notice that the wall is odd. If you change to Jose, you'll get some dialogue because we've changed to him for the first time. Let me try. It's my chance to help at last. And from here, you want to move the wall with Jose because he's kind of strong. The right-hand wall moves. Well done. It's nothing. And from here, we go back to playing as Mark. Or whatever his name is. So, we need to go to the left. You go to the right. It's late when I'm recording this. So now I can't tell left from right. Anyway, we go to the right. And from here we have a whole new bunch of things to look at. It's too dark to be sure, but it looks like a wall. The floor is highly polished. It's covered with a complicated pattern and sealed with heavy stone. It probably means something, but what? It's covered with tiles of all shapes and sizes. And there's a mosaic tile. The professor said he needed a tile to open the treasure room in the El Castillo Pyramid. And we have nothing else to look at, so we need to take the mosaic tile. And when we do that, we open the stone coffin. You take the brightest one, and the coffin slides open with a grinding sound. And from here, we have some things to look at, such as this one-eyed mask. The mask has one eye open. Sadly, it's not gripping its pillow tight. And it's looking right through you. Can we take the mask? We can. Now, you probably wouldn't know to do this at first, but you do need to do this. Move, or actually I should look at the skeleton first. Ah, that's how you close in on it. Nothing is left but bones. Now, if you... Oh, I still have things to look at. We have a skull and a skeleton. Bones. It's a bone! And the skeleton. You should look so good after 1,000 years. Very funny game. Now, it doesn't seem like it, but if you move the skull, you kind of mess with the skull, but something is hidden underneath the skull. And from here, we can also look at the stone coffin, nothing special, and the hole. The hole under the skull looks like a keyhole. We could use the silver key, but we can't use it. We don't have a key that works with this hole yet. So, this is all we can do for now. We need to go backwards. Then we need to go left to get out of here because we had to go right to go in. And then we can go backwards again, and that will be it. The next place we need to go to is El Castillo Pyramid. And it is directly east from here. How far to the east? 3 screens. Now we just need to go up the stairs and hit the magic spot, which is actually to the left, not to the right. El Castillo Pyramid, the Temple of Kukulkan. If you look around anywhere, you'll face another monster. This is Two-Beak, which is a scary-looking two-beaked bird. Apparently this thing has evil intentions and will try to destroy us. We have slightly more HP now, and we also have a strength level of 2. Let's fight this thing. Badly damaged, we dodge. Badly damaged, dodges. Badly damaged, we got hit. We're getting injured. But we eventually defeat it. Just keep fighting the thing. If you're level 2, you should beat Two-Beak. Mark has beaten Two-Beak. Well done. And from here, we are free to look around. We can finally look at that ceiling. A ceiling with the plaster ready to fall any minute. And there's a hollow in the floor. A hole in the plaster. 1 inch by 2 inch. And 1 to 2 inches deep. Not very big. But still worth noting. There is a staircase leading down. There's a hollow in center. But we already know about the hollow. And if we were to go, I believe, forward with up, we can go here. It's a dead end. The way is blocked with a wall. And from here, we have a wall to look at. The way is blocked. There is a small hollow in wall. There is nothing there. So there's nothing on the floor. A ceiling with the plaster ready to fall any minute. And the hollow. It's a strange shape. Mark, if you've something that fits the hole, the door might open up. And it seems like we do. So let's use the put command. We're going to select the mosaic tile with the D-pad and the A button, and we automatically use it. The tile fits perfectly, and the wall slides upwards. From here, we are free to look around, and there's a lot of things to look at in this treasure room. Smooth plastered walls. It's well preserved. There's a mosaic urn. A jar made of lots of fragments of stone. It's very mysterious. Shallow bowl. A bowl with a pin standing inside it. Let's look at the flask. Contains small rod. Taken, but covered with iron sand. So we now have a rod in our inventory, and we will be using that eventually, I would think. There's a gold mirror. It looks like a golden mirror, but it's dirty and doesn't reflect. Looks like we might have to wash it. We do have a wash command, you know. Large flask. Ouch! When you try to look inside, you hit your head. Anyway, it's empty. Idiot. Look, I'm exploring everything in the game, okay? So much gold must be worth millions of dollars. In before a primetime player's reference. Let's look at the large bowl. Bad luck. There's a hole in the bottom. It's empty. And there's a tall flask. There's something shining inside, but the neck's too narrow to get it out, even if you turn it upside down. There's a gold stand. A 4-inch high stand. It is designed to hold something about 4 inches across. And there's the ceiling. There's not a mark to be seen. Quite a pristine ceiling. Stone box. You open the box to find 3 stone tablets. They seem to have pictures on them, but you can't make them out. There must be some way to see them, though. And there's a silver globe. It's a silver globe about 4 inches in diameter. It's called the Globe of Light. Maybe we can put it on the gold stand. Anyway, take it to Caracol. Good to know. And the woman statue. Headless statue of a woman with silver globe in hands. Did I look at the floor? I don't think I did. It's filled with treasure. Piles of gold and silver, pots and stone boxes. Yep, wall was the last thing, so yeah, we didn't look at the floor yet until now. So, we need to take the shallow bowl, the gold mirror, because obviously it's dirty and we need to wash it, and we need to take the gold stand. We also need to take the silver globe. Now, we noticed with the tall flask that there's something stuck in there and there's no way we can just pour it out like it's some sort of liquid or a small solid that can go in and out of the hole as it pleases. But if we were to break the flask, maybe we could get what's in there. Thankfully, we have a smash command. Let us smash the tall flask. How pretty! A ring with a stunning jewel. And look, it fits my finger perfectly. Wow, it's the ring of Itza. It's said to have the power to defeat evil. To think that such a famous ring was hidden here. I don't know what use it'll be, but be careful not to lose it. And after we see the boy, we press A one more time and we'll be back on this screen. Now, this thing that we need to do next, I believe it is mentioned in the notebook, but unless you read the notebook and paid attention or wrote stuff down, you probably wouldn't even know that you need to do this. Move the pile of gold. Looking through the pile, you find a red jewel that looks like the legendary jewel that the professor was searching for. Yes, he said that using the one-eyed mask, it would make secrets become visible. He also said that used on the sword, it would create a magical power. So we have a red jewel that we can use on the one-eyed mask to find secrets, and we can also use it on the sword to make it more powerful in some way. Magically, of course. It's not known exactly what kind of magical power the sword will have, but something tells me we're about to find out. Anyway, we need to join the one-eye mask with the red jewel. So let's select the red jewel, press A, select the one-eye mask, press A again, and you'll combine the two items. The red jewel is fixed in the eye of the mask. Now, if we were to use the mask right now, on its own, when you put the mask on, the pictures become clear. Using the one-eye mask, you can look at the 3 tablets in the stone box. A picture of men digging up the censer at dusk. A trumpet at noon, and the jaguar becomes a statue. Men drinking a potion at night and shrinking. To solve this riddle, you will have to discover the sun necklace and find the position of the sun. Also, I feel like those pictures could be clues for some things. That could just be me. For now, we need to go down and then down again to go backwards. And when we do, we'll leave El Castillo Pyramid, and from here we need to go to the Well of Paradise. The Well of Paradise is 2 screens south and 1 screen east. So 2 screens south, and then from here go east. And we need to go between the lake and that stone rectangular prism to go to the Well of Paradise. The Well of Paradise, it doesn't look very deep, and we can look at the water and the well. The surface of the water sparkles in the sun. This is a beautiful place. Yeah, well, we came here for a reason. And we do know that this place is useful because things happened here, according to the notebook, as well as the game's intro. That's where the treasures, some of which we have, were found. And now we'll have to use those treasures as well as other things that we've found in order to find Professor Emes. Anyway, let's look at the well. The water looks very cool and windblown. This is a great place. So we are now at a big body of water. And since we are at a big body of water, and we have a wash command, we can use the wash command on the gold mirror. So let's do that. After being washed in the well, the golden mirror shines brightly. There's something shining in the water that looks like panpipes. And from here we can start looking at stuff, such as the water. It's very clear. It's very nice water that's already been established. Golden pipes. There are some holes in it, but you can't see clearly. And the bottom is a golden panpipe. So are we sure or not sure that these are golden panpipes? Anyway. Oh, and if you look at anything in your inventory, it'll just usually give you the same description as if you looked at it in the action window to the right. So that's why I'm not looking at stuff in the inventory. Except for the bandage. That was an exception. We started with that item. Anyway, we need to take the golden pipes. You pick it up carefully. Now, if you look at the golden pipes, you'll be able to take a look at them. A set of gold pipes about 10 inches wide. Unfortunately, there's a hole in them and they can't be used. So if you want to look at something in your inventory, select look, press A, press B, and then you can use the D-pad and the A button to look at anything. And you can press B to back out if you need to. Well, we actually do have something that can fix that hole in the panpipe so we can use them. And it's a little, I guess you could say, unconventional. But you can do it. We're going to join the bandage with the golden pipes. You stuck the bandage over the hole and fixed them. And with that, we can now use the golden pipes. From here, there's nothing more to do. So we are going to go backwards with the down arrow and leave. And I'm going to get out of the way. And I'm going to call it a video because this took a little longer than I thought it would. We need to do more stuff, but that will have to wait until the next video. So join me next time where we continue our adventure in Mexico to find Professor Emes. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!